服民者，万事之本也，不可欺。Civilians, basis of any era, never cheat on them. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. We focus on revealing the basic logics from strategies, revealing strategies from tactics and tricks, revealing tactics and tricks from appearances. In the end of last episode, I referred, since the year 2020, the COVID-19 started spreading worldwide. Till now, we witnessed the Russia special military operation. During these years, civilians feel the cost up of daily life from every side, and making money became more and more difficult. The role of raw material and resources became more and more outstanding. Thus, we blame the COVID makes business slow and quiet. And we blame the restriction supply on oil, gas, grains. Those things are making life cost go up. Is that really so? To offer an explanation to above appearances, we resort to the book, Principles for Navigating Big Debt Crisis. The author is Mr. Dalio. He is an inspiring figure, leading Bridgewater Associates, the well-known hedge fund. Mr. Dalio has profound knowledge and research on the world economy. In his book, the basic economy principles are revealed, as well as bias of economy performance in specific cases. Why from Principles for Navigating Big Debt Crisis. 祸兮福之所以，福兮祸之所伏. It reveals the principles of economy, but in the perspective of debts. Speaking of the economy principles, the images of the economy crisis generally pop into our mind. The inflations, the deflations, the collapse of stock market, the landlord who pours the milk into the river, rather than give away to poor people. The book Principles for Navigating Big Debt Crisis reveals the basic logics that leads to above images. We are used to thinking of using our money at hands for investment, thus to make money out of it. Actually, to use the money borrowed, which becomes debts for investment, is the mainstream in the economic activities. That is why the perspective of debts can reveal the principle of economy. What from Principles for Navigating Big Debt Crisis. 日月交替，斗转星移，起落分合，此乃天道循环. This is the charts of debts level in inflation situation. Debts and equity price, irrespectively. This is the charts of debts level in deflation situation. Debts and equity price, irrespectively. It is easy to observe. Both debts trends perform similar during economy period. Now, close your eyes and take a retrospect. A retrospect back to year 28. The world economy crisis, starting from the Lehman Brothers. Until now, the rough feeling of the debts of your country. Now, back to the charts again. Is not it similar? Is it not familiar? Yes, we are experiencing the downhill of the wave in this economy period. So, the appearances that are referred at the beginning of this episode are induced by where we are now in this economy period. Way out from Principles for Navigating Big Debts Crisis. 不知常，妄作凶；知常容，容乃公；公乃全，全乃天；天乃道，道乃久。What is the way out to survive from this hard period? Mr. Dalio mentioned several ways in the book, Principles for Navigating Big Debt Crisis. The core part of the way out lies in one topic, how to reduce the debts. Okay, imagine you owe someone money. This is your debt. You can try to earn money and pay off. But if you get no way to make money, you can borrow money from third party and pay this off. If you cannot borrow money from third party, you will consider to sell out your properties. But if your properties draw no interest in the market, what will you do? Bankrupt is an option. But what if you are not allowed to get bankrupt? You might risk to resort to illegal means, by threatening, by robbery, by any force, any mean but not to pay off. So, by above means, you successfully transfer your debt to the person who is involved. So, who are the targets? If the government wants to reduce the debts of the country, domestically, to slow the economy, to slow the death rate, but slowing the economy will cause the layout of civilians. The civilians are voters to government, so this must be controlled in a certain range. Of course, you can rob the rich people, but this is more risky, so who would be the best target? Take a guess. Not rich people, not poor people. So, who are the targets? If the government wants to reduce the deaths of the country internationally, to reduce the deaths internationally becomes a basic operation to reduce deaths in this era. In the past, you were still able to explore new lands or new place on the earth. Later, you could only start war to invade. Now, the war of economy is a basic operation. But to apply war of economy, the politic and the military assistance become very important. So, who are the targets for reducing deaths? Very simple, rich countries. Rich country means rich of wealth or rich of resources. How to do? Two ways. One is by providing politic and military support, thus to obtain wealth back in economic way. There are some typical examples already. The other is 草船借箭. When facing countries of strong power, it is not wise to raise war of economy directly toward them. 草船借箭 is a very typical military tactic applied in ancient China. One side of the war picked a foggy day and sent out fleets toward the base of the other side. The fleets were not equipped with soldiers and weapons, but thick dry grass stacks. When the fleets came close to the other side base, to the distance of the arrow can reach to, the soldiers on the fleets started to create big sound wave of attacking shouts and drums. When the other side heard of this, they were afraid to send out fleets into war, because they cannot see anything in the fog. So they decided to send out arrows to attack, and the result was clear. Arrows were successfully borrowed. In the tactic of 草船借箭, the key parts are fog and dry grass stack. Take a looking back of my episode of Russia Special Military Operation. You will find out the fog and dry grass stack. There are more fogs and dry grass stacks all over the world, as long as you pay attention to the international hot politic topics. At the end of this episode, I make my point here again. The cost up of your daily life originates from the downside of economy period. I even believe, without the COVID-19, you would still have the same feeling. However, the economy crisis is no like before, no like the sharp down to bottom in the past. It would be a relatively long period with up and down. All you need to do is to be smart. Do not invest boldly with your money. But if the money is from outside source, that is another story. Well, so much for this episode. I shall see you around.